You've heard of the saying, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Did you know that it was made popular by Listerine in the 1930s? Stay tuned to this episode of Antique Bottle Stories. Joseph Lister was born in 1827 in West Ham, England. At age 26, he entered into the Royal College of Surgeons. He became a surgical assistant to James Seymour and eventually married his daughter Agnes, who was also educated in medicine. Back then, a surgeon wasn't required to wash his hands. No one thought of bacteria infection as a thing. Lots of hospitals practiced surgery in unsanitary conditions. Doctors would move from patient to patient without washing their hands or cleaning anything. They would do surgery without gloves, many times wearing their regular clothes. Surgeons of that time referred to the good old stink and took pride in the stains on their unwashed garments as a display of their experience. There's a story I just read recently and mentioned in another video about President Garfield. He was shot in the back, and apparently the wound was survivable, but these doctors thought there were 2 bullets in the wound and there was only 1. So they kept probing around in this wound looking for the other bullet using unsterile fingers and utensils, and it caused an infection that he died from. His shooter said in court, "Yes, I admit to shooting him, but the doctors killed him." He was right. Lister was a pioneer of antiseptic surgery. He invented the carbolic acid spray in the belief that most infection-causing germs were in the air. The steam spray covered everyone and everything in the operating room or hospital ward with a vapor of carbolic acid, creating an antiseptic environment. He found that when he sprayed the utensils and swabbed the wounds with this carbolic acid, it greatly reduced infection and gangrene. He started instructing his surgeons to wash their hands and to wear clean gloves before and after operations. Lister eventually abandoned the spray in 1887 as he found there was a disadvantage to the spray. Apparently, inhaling carbolic acid is dangerous. At first, his ideas about infection and cleanliness were criticized and even mocked. Lister died in 1912, and on the 100th anniversary of his death in 2012, Lister was considered by most in the medical field as the father of modern surgery. Listerine wasn't actually formulated by Lister, though. In 1879, Listerine was first formulated by Dr. Joseph Lawrence and Jordan Wheat Lambert. Inspired by Lister's ideas, Dr. Joseph Lawrence from St. Louis developed an alcohol-based formula for surgical antiseptic, which included some of these ingredients that I can't pronounce. Lawrence named this antiseptic Listerine in honor of Lister. While it's used today primarily as a mouthwash, it had been sold as a surgical disinfectant, a cure for dandruff, a floor cleaner, a deodorant, an aftershave, and a remedy for various diseases ranging from dysentery to smallpox to gonorrhea. Listerine advertised that it could cure all types of ailments, but it wasn't until it started advertising as a cure for halitosis in the 1920s that it took off. Interestingly, halitosis was not necessarily considered a problem until Listerine made it one. The phrase, always a bridesmaid, never a bride, was popularized by the 1930s advertisement for Listerine. They perfected the technique using fear in their advertisements. They targeted women heavy in these advertisements. You don't want to be that girl with the bad breath. Look at some of these ads. Back then, they were a lot more savage. Look how mean these are. Let that tide take her out. I won't. Come on, dude. She's out in the water. You can smell her breath. You guys are all the way over on shore. And oh my gosh, come on now. That's just mean. Also in the 30s, a Listerine cigarette was invented. It was made like regular cigarettes, but the tobacco was infused with some of the essential oils included in the Listerine formula. And here's one of my Listerine bottles. They're very common, not really worth anything, But when I hold this bottle, I just feel that I'm connecting with a poor girl who used this, thinking that she was going to forever be alone if she didn't. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Before you go, watch this commercial. See you next time.
Sometimes you learn the most from words you aren't supposed to hear. Poor Marge. She'll never hold a man until she does something about her breath. Until she does something about her breath. Does something about her breath.
Research shows that there is a direct connection between germs in your mouth and unpleasant breath. Listerine antiseptic, the most widely used antiseptic in the world, kills germs instantly. Kills them by the millions.
Listerine's germ-killing action works in 3 places. Stops bad breath where it's most apt to start. Your teeth, your mouth, your throat. In actual scientific tests, Listerine antiseptic stopped bad breath 4 times better than toothpaste, 4 times better than chlorophyll. So every morning, every night, before every date, gargle with Listerine antiseptic. It kills germs instantly by millions. Make Listerine antiseptic a friend of yours for keeps.